Episodes 1 and 2 of Ahsoka have dropped this past week, and I've had the chance to see both of them on Disney+. How did this show do on its debut? How did the reintroductions of Star Wars Rebels character affect this new world Dave Filoni is building? A looming threat is on its way for Heroes of the Galaxy, even after years of defeating the evil Emperor Palpatine the first time. The central character in the show is Ahsoka, played by Rosario Dawson. She made her debut in The Mandalorian Season 2 back in 2020. I liked her portrayal in that show, along with this show so far, and I think that it's a decent match to the animated version of the character that we saw in Star Wars The Clone Wars. She is reconnecting with older allies from her Star Wars Rebels days. Star Wars Rebels ended in 2018, after 4 seasons on air during the early Disney era. Quick review on that show for me is very similar to the view of the Star Wars Clone Wars animated show by Dave Filoni. Both shows started off a little slow for me, but in time became very endearing Star Wars tales in the end. The Ghost Crew and development of characters like Ezra Bridger, Kanan Jarrus, Hera Syndulla, Sabine Wren, Zeb Orrelios, and astromech droid Chopper. The group had a tragic end in Season 4 after defeating the great Admiral Thrawn, a favorite ally of Palpatine within the Galactic Empire. The young Jedi Ezra Bridger resisted the temptation of Palpatine while on Thrawn's ship. He brought in Purgles from across the galaxy and space to ambush Thrawn's ship. He was transported with the ship and Thrawn to an unknown area outside the galaxy. The show concluded with the rebels defeating the Empire on Lothal. The heroes were celebrated as the victors of this new galactic rebellion. Some heroes within the Ghost Crew are left sad and wondering if Ezra would ever return. We will begin the first episode of Ahsoka with Master and Apprentice in a mysterious ship entering a New Republic prisoner space transport. The two figures tell the cockpit that they are Jedi, arriving to oversee the transport of a prisoner. They use an old Jedi code, but are cautiously allowed to enter. The two figures arrive and reveal their sinister trick to ambush the ship's security. There are 4 sensitive figures using orange-colored sabers. The bearded man is Baylan Skoll, played by the late Ray Stevenson, who passed away this past May. He and his apprentice, Shin Hati, played by Ivana Sakna, seek the prisoner. Morgan, played by Diana Lee Inosato, is an ally of Thrawn and had a couple of previous encounters with Din Djarin and Ahsoka Tano. She is freed, and the three plan their next move into finding a map with the location of Admiral Thrawn, who has been missing all these years. Meanwhile, Tano arrives on Arcana in some city ruin. She goes through a couple of puzzles and finds a golden orb within the stone box. The orb contains a map that others are seeking as well. Tano is confronted with HK assassin droids threatening for the map. She refuses their demands and flees their attacks and self-destruct protocols. She and her droid ally Hu Yang, played by David Tennant, flee the destroyed region. Hu Yang taught young Padawans the ways of inventing lightsabers dating back before the fall of the Old Republic. The two receive transmission that Morgan escaped the New Republic prison. Tano is triggered and seeks out help from an old friend. She is greeted by General Hera Syndulla, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Her, Tano, and Hu Yang analyze the orb to unlock the map. They agree that it could lead to finding Ezra Bridger, but Hera says that there's only one person that she knows that could unlock the orb's puzzle. Celebrations are being held on Lothal for the 7th anniversary of the Empire's defeat. The governor gives a speech glorifying the Ghost Crew that saved the city from the clutches of Thrawn. He nearly gives the stage to Sabine Wren until it was apparent that she ran off. He sends some guards to go find her, but they fail to stop and retrieve her. Sabine takes refuge in an old communications tower miles away from the capital city of Lothal. There she has a pet and watches an old recording of Ezra Bridger. He recorded a goodbye message video before the Battle of Lothal, just in case he doesn't reunite with the Ghost Crew. Wren is considered a sister by Bridger, and he trusts her to take on and continue the fight. A former Inquisitor named Marek, Haiti, and Elizabeth inspect the recently destroyed ruins on Arcana. The site used to be a temple for the Night Sisters of Dathomir. The Night Sisters are notorious for playing with dark magic and witchcraft, and of course the dark side. They find rubble of ruins after the droids have destroyed the area. Elizabeth says Tano is alive and still carries the map. She orders Skoll and Haiti to track down an old ally of Ahsoka on Lothal. Back there, Sabine has a nightmare and is awakened by a perimeter alert. She sees a familiar ship nearing the capital of Lothal. Ahsoka arrives to meet with city officials, but mainly arrives to see Sabine. Tano and Wren go into private to talk about the orb that Ahsoka retrieved. Tano requests for Sabine's help to unlock the puzzle for the map. The two start debating on what home really means to each of them. This underlines the main disagreement that both Sabine and Ahsoka share together. Tano tried to train Sabine in the ways of the Jedi, but it sounded like either she gave up or Sabine gave up. Huyang interrupts to privately tell Ahsoka that Skull's lightsaber revealed that he was trained in the Jedi arts before the fall of the temple after the Clone Wars. He took up Haiti as his apprentice. Alarmed, Tano looks for Sabine afterwards, but is somewhat shocked that she ran off, of course with the orb in hand. Sabine seeks to break the puzzle in her home while in her comfort zone. Hera transmissions in to check on Tano and tells her to have some patience with Sabine. She reveals that it was a difficult time training a Mandalorian in the Jedi ways. Ahsoka admits that she walked away from Sabine very similarly than when she walked away from Anakin Skywalker in her own Jedi training. Wren is able to solve the puzzle, and the orb reveals a holographic map of the galaxy. It also shows a pathway road leading to a different galaxy. Before she can make notes and analyze the data, she is ambushed by assassin droids. The droids nearly get the best of Wren and are able to retrieve the orb. Sabine grabs her lightsaber that she used during her Jedi training and duels with the MK droids. Hattie was also present and starts dueling with Sabine. Ahsoka rushes and nearly reaches them, but is too late after Sabine is stabbed by the Dark Force user. The villain escapes as Tano tries to get Sabine to safety. This leads us into part 2, titled Toil and Trouble, at the hospital, where Sabine is recovering from her wounds. She is having a flashback of an earlier conversation with Tano about Ezra Bridger, and is asked about what happened at Lothal. Sabine tells the others that she saw 2 galaxies and a pathway between the 2 of them. Tano asks Sabine where the location of the pathway is, but Wren reveals that the map was destroyed before she could decipher it. Her data pad on the orb and the map were also destroyed by the droids. Baylan and Hattie arrive on a mysterious planet called Cedos. They arrive at a rocky ruined site with the orb in hand. Skull places the orb on a central pedestal and clicks it into place. He tells Hattie to contact Morgan and Elizabeth. He says that they found the reflex point on this planet. Ahsoka arrives to Sabine's home on Lothal to observe the ambush site. She's almost jumped by one of the surviving droids and brings its head to Sabine. Wren then accesses the memory core in a dicey troubleshoot and nearly breaks through its backup systems. Before they could see anything from the droid's memory, it overheats and almost explodes. Huyang comes in to unhook the power and stops the process. They do find out that the droid was manufactured on the planet of Corellia. This planet is where the New Republic holds a big shipyard for their fleet. It is revealed that Morgan had factories on this planet as well. Tano then plans with Hera to meet on Corellia. Sabine is left again by Tano to recover from her wounds. Ahsoka left to meet Hera on the planet, but Hera compliments Sabine on doing a good job up to this point. You can really tell that Hera is trying with Sabine and with Ahsoka to kind of mend the two's relationship. But back on Corellia, Hera pulls out some military credentials to bypass security and observe a shipyard. Hera discovers that the crew are still loyal to the Empire and attempts to shut the facility down. One transport ship is holding a fuel power source and tries to dart from the planet. Before Ahsoka could reach the ship, she is confronted by the former Inquisitor, Merrick, and begins dueling. Hera gets on the Ghost and tries to get close with the ship. She has Chopper throw a tracking device on the ship before it reaches to hyperspace. The team is one step closer into finding Ezra Bridger. Being a former Padawan at least during the fall of the temple, Baylan expresses some remorse for when he has to eventually kill Sabine and Ahsoka. This alarms Elizabeth briefly as she shows Baylan and company the pathway to find Admiral Thrawn. This little show of sympathy is telling because Baylan really doesn't show much commitment to either being a Jedi or a Sith. I'm fascinated to see how his character and the other Force-sensitive people come out at the end of the season. Elsbeth has some sinister plans to find Admiral Thrawn, and will be a thorn for the heroes moving forward. Sabine is healed from her wounds and begins to gear up to join Hera and Ahsoka. Specifically, she wishes to finish her Jedi training under Tano's teaching once again. Somewhat encouraged by Huyang, Wren decides to cut her share short again to join Ahsoka on her quest to find Ezra Bridger. Hey movie lovers, welcome to Real Talk Movies, your next destination for all things cinema. If you're a big film fanatic like me, smash that like button and hit subscribe. By subscribing, you'll never miss out on future discussions, in-depth reviews, and analysis on all things related to film. Now, back to the video. Those are the first 2 episodes of Star Wars Ahsoka. The show builds its framework for the plot of the season and introduces us to some somewhat new characters. The crew from Star Wars Rebels returns in quite the role after being a footnote in Star Wars live action for so long. I enjoyed the original show very much, so it intrigued me to see how Dave Filoni and Steph Green do whenever they introduce these new faces to Star Wars lore. As for Ahsoka Tano herself, Dawson did well in the scenes that we got her in. Not too many action sequences just yet, but I think that Rosario fits well in the Star Wars universe, and I'm hoping we get some flashback scenes or for more references to her own training for when she was a Padawan. It's important for newer fans to really see or hear how vital of a character she was during the end of the Clone Wars. After all, she was trained by Anakin Skywalker. The cast around her also does fine in their own respective roles. I like Natasha Liu Bordizzo's performance as Sabine Wren. While fans might not be used to her character or her actor as well, Sabine will be playing a big role in the show moving forward. And alongside Dawson's Ahsoka, the villains of the show, Baylan and Elsbeth, will be good additions to other Empire sympathizing villains that we've seen in the past. I like the Night Sister twist element that's being added, rather than having another general or former Imperial officer. Also, adding some supernatural elements to Star Wars is a long time coming. Admiral Thrawn will be played by Lars Mikkelsen, so I'm super pumped to see when his character will show up. His character is based on big-time Star Wars legend lore from the Heir to the Empire novel from 1991. He played a massive role in the Star Wars Rebels show as well, so his presence will be absolutely looming in this show. But I think Ahsoka started off well with both episodes coming out at the same time. The first 2 episodes gets fans into the world and into that tone that Dave Filoni is trying to build around Ahsoka. He's also trying to bring in a whole roster of characters never seen in live action before. I'll leave my full thoughts on the show waiting at the conclusion of it. I hope that the show kicks up the pace and doesn't drag out the quest to find Thrawn and Ezra too long. But what do you guys think of the Ahsoka season premiere? Are you excited to see what the Ghost Crew and Jedi come with next week? Share all those thoughts down below. Thank you for watching today's video, and I hope that you enjoyed today's topic. If you could hit that sub button, that would be awesome. Hit that like button and boost my video up on the algorithm. Click that bell so you don't miss any of my videos that get uploaded. And if you have some time to spare, check out some of these videos on your screen right now.